what up, leaders? Welcome back to my channel. We are back at Timeri. This is Timeri Airport. I'm standing under the I'm standing under the jetway. This is the jetway for the aircrafts that are loading, boarding at Timeri. And I just gave you a look at the Marriott. Some of the renovations that have been under construction here at Timeri and CJI International Airport. You can take a look at how far they've come and see if there's any evidence of the new airport terminal that is planned for CJI. So let's take a look. So here, guys, here is the west southwest end of the airport complex. Down at the end of this access road is the airport hangars, and of course this is also the end where you have the control tower. Right, this is the control tower. They've clearly done some renovation on the control tower. It's freshly painted. Those are the colors of freshly painted building. The Guyana flag flying off the deck near the top. So we're here to see what has happened to the new construction, the construction of the new airport lounge. There's a dining lounge that was under construction last time we were here and seemed quite close to completion. We want to see if they've completed that dining lounge, and we want to see the new administrative building that they're constructing. But right now we're passing under the jetway, the new jetway that was added to the terminal over the last couple of years. I think it has been operational now for at least a year and is a convenient addition to the airport. Now this airport was built, I think, back in the 60s. It used to be Atkinson Field, right? The Timeri Airport used to be Atkinson Field back in the 1940s and 50s when there was a military base, US military base nearby, which is now Camp Stevenson. I mentioned that previously. It used to be Atkinson Field, then it became Timeri Airport, and the current government renamed it CJI International Airport after Dr. Jagan died. Dr. Jagan, of course, was one of the previous presidents and initially was one of the first political leaders at independence. Now here, this airport has been renamed for him after he died sometime in the early 2000s. I was not in Guyana when that event occurred, and so I was not here when they renamed this airport. I came back in 2013, I believe. But this is what the current airport looks like. The traffic in the last 5 years has more than doubled from previous decades, and the airport is now experiencing highest traffic it has ever had before. And for that reason, the facilities are no longer adequate in terms of the ability to handle a volume of traffic coming through the airport now. This is their power plant, physical plant, airport physical plant, backup power and so on. But this facility is no longer large enough, big enough to handle the volume of traffic that currently passes through the airport and that will eventually pass through as Guyana becomes an important destination and a hub for transit into and out of South America, the only English-speaking country in the South American continent. So the need for a bigger airport, bigger terminal is already obvious, and they started plans to build a new terminal. But before those plans they started talking about those plans, there was the plan to extend the airport by increasing facilities, and this portion of the building was added recently to add a dining lounge, right? This middle section, to add a dining lounge to the airport. And so far, this is how much work has been completed. Now there's still a construction fence around part of the building, which means that they're probably still on the construction as the last time we were here. There's still, I think, at least one window pane, glass pane missing, and of course one on the ground floor as well. So it seems as if there's still some amount of external construction work to be done. But the building is more or less completed, although it's about the same as we've seen the last time we were here. Same condition it was in the last time we were here. This is the front. Remember, it's located between the arrival area, so that is the arrival area, and the departure area. So that's the departure area. And right in the middle there is this new blue and white section of the building that has been added and refurbished. However, it still remains a relatively small airport terminal compared to even other Caribbean airports like Norman Manley in Jamaica, Grantley Adams in Trinidad, and so on. So we've kindly come to the conclusion that a larger airport terminal is needed. However, that is still in the works, it's still in planning stages, and I have no idea where they're going to place it and what the design is like, but we're all waiting with bated breath to see what it looks like. I'm now in the parking lot, backing up to take a look at the terminal in relation to the hotel. That is the Courtyard Marriott Hotel over there in the distance. Right, we've just come from that direction. This is where the arrival terminal of CJI International Airport is located. Right, that's the arrival area. This is the new dining lounge right in the center, and at the east end, that's the departure area. And they've added one more building over here. This is the new airport administration building that's on the construction. I'm gonna take a look at that in a second. And just a few more words on this. So this part of the building is new, the blue and white section. It does look, because of its scale, it fits in with the current architecture of the building. However, like I said, it's no longer impressive, certainly not in keeping with what is now the fastest growing country in the world. We should be aspiring to having infrastructure, at least air transportation infrastructure, similar to other advanced nations. For reference, the new airport terminal at LaGuardia, Changi Airport in Singapore, and terminals in Shanghai and Beijing would probably make this terminal look like a water closet, like a bathroom, like a toilet. So there is need for a new terminal, and I'm hoping eventually we do get the plans for that, and when in fact those plans come out, they will reflect a much more ambitious airport design than the one that currently exists. But finally, let me take a look at what is happening with this new administration building. So the administration building for the airport is located just outside the entrance of the airport complex. This is the main entrance, and what they've done so far, it seems as if they've completed 3 floors. This is a 3-story building. It seems fairly large, although at the current scale it probably is built for the current airport, and the new airport is probably going to be, or should be, 10 times the size of the current airport if people who are ambitious get hold of the planning. So this is what it looks like here at the administration building. Still a whole lot. It's a Saturday afternoon. Still a whole lot of construction. Construction crew is busy working on the building and on the fence. Apparently they're building a new perimeter fence. So there's a construction crew and a cement mixer out here. This is the fence that they added, this colorful concrete fence they added a few years ago, or 2 years ago, to screen off the local residents who were selling along this road. And so the government made a decision to put up this fence to hide the unsightly appearance of sellers in the local area. But this is what the airport administration building looks like in 2025. The 31st of May 2025. Construction seems to be progressing. I think they're probably under 50% completed, but you can see they've already started adding ceiling to the floors. Right, they start to add those ceiling panels, and it seems as if there's going to be a lot of glass based on the wide opening spaces between these concrete sections of wall. So I guess the walls will be completed as soon as they install the glass. But this is what it looks like now at the end of May 2025. And in relation to the entrance, this is the entrance to the Tamari Airport, CJI International Airport. It's exactly opposite the entrance, which means I guess they will incorporate this entrance into the building itself. What I would say is missing is covered walkways, because this is a tropical country. It's always raining or the sun is shining brightly, very hot. There's need for covered walkways so that passengers can get from the parking lot or between the administration building and the airport terminal itself without having to get wet in the rain or be sunburnt in the blistering sun here in the tropics. So if I had one suggestion for them, I would say let's add some covered walkways, some pedestrian walkways that are covered, not necessarily enclosed, but with a roof, so that you don't get wet in the tropical rains that are constant here in this neck of the woods. We're in the rainy season, and we're just catching a glimpse between the rain showers now at Tamari. You can see the clouds and the sky tell of rain coming and gone. So this is what's happening here, guys. That's the new airport terminal, the new lounge, new dining lounge. That's the new dining lounge in the old terminal. We're still waiting for the new terminal. Tell me what you think about this. There are still huge problems, of course, with the operation of the airport. People have complained about the lack of adequate restroom facilities and so on. But I think hopefully when they build a new airport, it will be designed with those facilities in mind. For now, if you are at the airport and you need to use the restroom, this is this building is the only public restroom available, and you have to use it outside the building before you enter the departure lounge or when you leave the arrival area. But that's what's up, guys. That's what's happening in this neck of the woods. If you want to see more content like this, click that and subscribe. Share this video with friends and family around the world. Let people know what's happening in the fastest growing country in the world, Guyana. Later! Oh, that is the Lotus Lounge. And beyond the departure area is the extension, which you're going to see in the next video.